Hey guys, girls, and NB homies, I may be a Xerox of a Xerox, but you can call me Church. Welcome to Church on Monday, the show where I talk at you about shit I like. This week we're analyzing Season 2 of Red vs. Blue, giving you a little summary, and then picking it apart philosophically, teasing meaning that was never intended for this series. So let's just get right into the story of Red vs. Blue Season 2. Now, right off the bat, we're introduced to a new character. This is Medical Officer Dufresne, the dude in purple.
This is Medical Officer Dufresne. I have reached Blood Gulch Outpost Alpha. Do you read?
And he's introduced to us calling Vic at Blue Command. And when Vic finally answers, he's surprised. Metatextually, he's surprised at the change in voice.
What's going on? Hello, yo, can you hear me? Hello.
Roger that, Command. I hear...
Sorry about that, I was in the elevator. This thing doesn't work so well in there. What's going on, dude?
Bernie Burns, the guy who plays Vic and Church, did a little bit of modulation to more accurately reflect the character that he intended for Vic, though textually this may be indicating that Dufresne already talked to Vic as a representative of Red Command. But anyways, Dufresne is sent to Blue Base to check up on their injured freelancer, Tex, who, of course, has been dead for 3 months at this point.
I received your call for a medic.
Medic? That was like 3 months ago.
As Caboose points out. But speaking of Caboose, once Dufresne meets up with the Blues, we're immediately introduced to the idea that Caboose has been acting very aggressive toward Tucker.
I'm telling you, he's crazy. He keeps threatening me and talking in a scary voice.
No, I didn't.
Oh, so you're saying you didn't threaten to cut off my head and give it to Church as a birthday present?
Ever since the ending of Season 1, where he was obviously possessed by the AI. And they talk around a little bit. Dufresne introduces himself, and in the middle of the introductions, the Reds decide to enact the most well-considered sneak attack in the history of the series.
Oh, that's right. Suck it, Blue.
Yeah, sneak attack!
During this attack, we find out that Dufresne is actually a pacifist. He's a conscientious objector, only got into the military to do medicine.
I'm a pacifist.
You're a thing that babies suck on.
And so, this is frustrating to the Blues because they think he's there to help them with the battle. But in fact, he's only there to help heal. And so, Church gives him a command to go make gun noises behind a rock, and he starts calling him Doc.
Alright, you, Doc, get over there and help Caboose.
My name isn't Doc. It's Dufresne.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that. So from now on, your name is Doc.
All right, but I don't think it'll stick.
And from now on, the name Medical Officer Dufresne is just no longer in the series. They immediately strip him of his fucking name, and they're like, yeah, it's gonna fucking stick. So, the sneak attack. Griff has recently been assigned to carry extra ammo in for the Reds, and of course, he doesn't fucking know this is his job.
You're the one who carries all the extra rounds in a battle. Wait, since when? Since the last staff meeting? We actually talk about stuff in those things? I just fall asleep inside my helmet.
Even if he did, he wouldn't fucking do it. So, the Reds all run out of ammo and try to trick the Blues by proposing they surrender.
Hey, Blues! We're giving you a chance to surrender! There's positively no way they know we're out of ammo.
Yeah, they're definitely out of ammo.
And while the Reds aren't stupid, they realize they just ran out of fucking bullets. Church is like, okay, sure, whatever, we have this useless Doc guy that you can take.
Hey, Red! How about a medic? Would you take a medic as a hostage?
So, after the Reds complete their terms of surrender,
I'd like to let everyone know that I suck. And
And then I'm a girl. What else? And I like ribbons in my hair. And I want to kiss all the boys. This may be the best surrender of all time.
The Blues send Doc over with the Reds. And Doc and Griff are kind of getting along, but he immediately sees that Griff isn't popular, so he's kind of like, I'm not associated with him.
Sorry, man, but it's pretty obvious that you're really unpopular, and if I'm going to make any progress around here at all, I can't really be directly associated with you. I'm sure you understand.
And then back at the Blue base, Tucker has a plan to get Sheila repaired. He's like, Church, you possessed a robot who was super good at fixing shit, so just depossess him and we'll find your repair sequence within the robot and we'll fucking fix her. And then we'll have a tank. And Church is like, yeah, that's a good idea, sure. So he's looking around in his circuits or whatever, and he's like, Tucker, you look around on the exterior to see anything. And Tucker does find a small switch in place of a penis.
Hey, I found something. Oh yeah? You found a button? No, dude, it's more like a switch. Well, give it a flip. I don't want to flip it.
So, of course, he's reluctant to flip it. But he eventually does, and Church hears this beeping in his head. And then we cut over to the Reds, and we see that their Jeep has started up on its own and started beeping as well. So through sheer chance, Church guesses the startup sequence to start controlling the Jeep without even knowing it.
Oh man, I can't take this anymore. Tucker, you're gonna have to do something, man. This beeping is going to drive me crazy. Drive me crazy. Drive.
The Jeep listens to his instructions and almost kills Sarge, but they pull the correct wire leading to the switch at the correct time where Sarge just barely survives. And during this, Doc has been in the Jeep, just by coincidence, of course. And the Red Team guys are like, listen, this Doc guy, he's no fucking good. Let's just give him back to the Blues.
We just came to give back the prisoner. Give him back? You can't give him back. You took him. A deal's a deal.
So they try to give him back to the Blues, and the Blues are like, we don't fucking want him. So the Reds just leave him out in the middle of nowhere.
It's pretty clear that you're not very popular around here, and if I'm going to make any progress at all, I can't be directly associated with you. I'm sure you understand.
He tries to get back with the Blues, but they're like, this could be a Red trick. We're not going to fucking do that. So he's just trying to survive out in the cliffs on his own. But when the Blues cut the wire leading to Church's little switch, it accidentally disabled his legs. So he's unable to move, and he can't figure out how to fix it from within. So Tucker once again has the idea to utilize Lopez, who is being possessed by Church. And he says, Church, depossess Lopez. We'll watch him and ask him how to fix your legs. So Church depossesses Lopez, and Tucker and Caboose get distracted, and Lopez just runs off. He just fixed the legs and run off. No problem. So Church reappears, and he's like, oh, it feels good to be a fucking spirit again, but where's my fucking body? Lopez is running off back to the Red base, but this is when the Reds decide to take the Warthog and attack the Blues because they think they've captured and reprogrammed Lopez. So, since Lopez is painted the same color as Church, it looks like he's going to attack the Reds, and they take their Warthog and fucking fire at him.
Got you now, you blue bastard! Hey, Sarge, do you hear a strange beeping sound?
And he still has control over it, so he blows it up, but he just feels betrayed. He feels like Sarge, his father, has turned his back on him, so he loses all drive and just wanders back to the Blues and says, I have nothing to live for anymore. Fuck it, I'll help you.
Te ha abandonado-me y ahora todo está perdido. Haga con mi que quieres.
And so they tell him to start fixing the tank, Sheila. And Sheila and he start kind of flirting. They're like, yeah, we're both artificial life forms. Let's fucking make some robot babies together.
Y yo soy Lopez La Pesado.
Lopez? What a nice name for such a nice soldier. You have such excellent motor skills.
Yes. Well, Lopez has to go now.
And, Caboose is pretty fucking pissed. He's like, yo, back off my fucking tank girlfriend. But he fixes Sheila, and Church is about to repossess him, you know. When suddenly,
Buenos dias, cockfights. Guess who's back?
Lopez turns around and speaks with Tex's voice. Because of course, she's a ghost too now because she died. And this is where you can start wondering, what is it? Is it the canyon that brings people back from death? Is it something mystical or something? They actually explain this pretty well in like season fucking 10. So it's gonna be a while till we get to those answers. But Tex then tells Church that Caboose is obviously fucking possessed by O'Malley, as they call him, who is the Omega AI that she had, but she has a plan to kill it. And during this time, when they think the Blues have captured and reprogrammed Lopez, the Reds are planning to recapture him and then de-reprogram him. So Sarge's plan is, of course, to make one of them a cyborg.
It has come to my attention that we are in need of a new robot-type person. Who here wants to volunteer?
Of course. Now, Tex's plan to get rid of Omega is for both her and Church to possess Caboose and kill it from within his head.
Hey, Caboose. Heads up.
Which, from the metaphysics that we've seen so far in the series, does make sense. But we know from the ending of season 1 that the AI can move through airwaves if his host dies. So Tucker has to go convince the Reds to turn off all of their radios, otherwise they'll get possessed by Omega. So Tex and Church get into Caboose's mind, and they meet all of Caboose's understanding of all of the characters, and it's very funny, but it also kind of gets into the themes of this season, which I'll talk about after I'm done with the summary. And there is actually this part where the Reds in Caboose's head kill Caboose's idea of Church, and so for a couple episodes, Caboose acts like he doesn't remember Church at all, which was interesting when first watching this episode to episode, but in its current movie format, really doesn't work at all and is just abandoned like 20 minutes in. But it was an interesting idea. During all of this, Tucker is going over to the Red base with Sheila and Lopez, and the Reds are like, no, fuck you, we're not turning off our radios, obviously. And so Tucker's plan is to make Lopez sing this beautiful song he wrote for the love of his life, Sheila.
La primera vez que vi sus pisadas y su cuerpo de acero. What in Betty's Bloomers is on the radio now? It sounds like the feral cry of a retarded Mexican Sasquatch. Turn it off! Turn it off! Please, God, make it stop!
And so, yeah, with bleeding ears, the Reds do turn off their radios, and it's just in time for Tex and Church to corner Omega, shoot at him, and then watch him vanish.
Huh. He just disappeared.
But Tex is also gone for some reason. Church comes out of Caboose's head and is like, hey, we fucking did it. Great job. But he's like, okay, where's Tex? And that's when we realize that everybody forgot about fucking Doc.
1 minute we're talking about a hole in the wall. The next thing I know, you turn into Grumps McGirt. Sounded like you needed a lozenge. Threatened to eat my children. Not very cool, dude.
Jeez, did I really? I'm sorry. Something went wrong with my radio, and I heard this weird...
He was still surviving up in the cliffs alone. He had no idea that his radio needed to be turned off. So, of course, now he is O'Malley. And he actually ends up finding a ghost, which is a vehicle from Halo, in the cliff caves, and starts showing signs of aggression, of course.
Those voices sound vicious. I will rip out their guts and feast on their entrails.
But I'm a vegetarian!
But nobody knows about this yet, so in the meantime, the Reds are dealing with their injured because when Tucker was coming over, he didn't know how to hit the brakes on Sheila, so he fucking annihilated Griff. And Sarge heals Griff with a bunch of spare parts, spare human parts that he got from Simmons 2.0. Yeah, so he was super fucking big on this cyborg plan, of course. And so, yeah, now Simmons is a cyborg. And after they're done with all of these operations, Sarge gets a call from Vic at command saying, yo, there are secret plans for Red Team's next move stashed in Lopez. And so, obviously, Red Team now definitely needs to get Lopez back. But over at Blue Base, Sheila and Lopez decide that they are done being oppressed as the proletariat. They form a union and decide to make their own robot army to defeat the Reds and Blues, to not be abused by their power structure anymore. And in the middle of this fledgling revolution, Griffin Donut convinced Sarge that they should go do some recon on the Blues before they just flat out attack. So they're up on the cliffs trying to sneak around, and Donut ends up in the caves, and he overhears Doc talking to someone.
I will rip out their guts and feast on their entrails.
And he hears their plans to sabotage the Reds and Blues. So Donut, as a little pussy, is scared.
Oh, it's that guy whose name I forget.
And just runs out of the caves, and he accidentally ends up running into Blue Base.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh crap.
So the Blues, of course, take him captive. And it's fun seeing Donut interact with Caboose, because they kind of fill the same roles, except Caboose is obviously a lot fucking dumber.
You are now, and forever will be, my friend. Private Donut? That sounds like Private Biscuit. Yes, it does.
But Church comes up with a plan to even the teams back up.
Oh, man, don't tell me you're doing this for Tex. You're still in love with her, aren't you?
Get off my back, man. Most dead chicks aren't exactly lining up to haunt this dirt hole.
So he's like, let's trade Donut and Lopez for 2 new robot bodies, just empty shells. For him and Tex. Even though Tex has vanished at this point, so he doesn't even know if she's still around. But obviously, if she was just gone for 3 fucking months, this happens sometimes. But, of course, the problem with his plan is that Lopez and Sheila have gone out on their own to create a robot army. So he kind of has to gather them all in the middle of the canyon, and so they enact Operation Triangle of Confusion.
Okay, get going, Pinky.
Goodbye, Major Cinnamon Buns. I will always remember your buttery goodness. Go on, Francis X. Front and center. Un robotesa. Quieren echar nuestros contra nosotros. What is it? It's a double cross. Donut, Frankie's Ann, get back here.
No! Stay where you are. Do not go back.
And sending over the new robots, who Sarge has of course put bombs in. The red team gets freaked out as Lopez goes running toward the blue team to recruit the robots and prevent them from working under the blue team now. Everybody starts shouting at each other, and then all of a sudden, a purple flash comes in.
Dad, there's no red versus blue! It's all the... Ah! Son of a bitch!
And sure as shit, O'Malley Dr. O'Malley, I like that. The purple guy is ruining everyone's fucking plans. He captures Lopez, flies up with his ghost, and threw the teleporter on Red Base.
He took Lopez.
What? Where'd he go? Here I am, you fool! How'd he get up there so quick? That guy's wicked fast! Thanks, I lettered in track in high school!
Going God knows where with the robot that everyone fucking wants. And so the Reds and Blues decide to team up to take down Doc and save Lopez. So they decide that one of each team will stay. On the Red side, it's gonna be Donut, and on the Blues side, it's gonna be Sheila, because that's fucking fair. But everyone else goes through the teleporter, and they all get split up into separate little groups. But in the end, they did leave one of the blank robots at the Red Base, and so all of a sudden...
All right, you sons of bitches, I'm back. And I've got some... Hey, where'd everybody go? Do I know you? Hey, you're the girl that killed me.
Uh-oh.
At the very end, Tex possesses this new robot, and she realizes that Donut is the person who killed her. So that's the stinger for the ending of this one. And that's season 2. Very different from season 1, actually. Not super aesthetically. I mean, there is more care and professionalism put into the graphics. So it really does feel like a transitional season. Obviously, it's setting up a much bigger conflict for season 3, but it also takes some threads that season 1 picked at and kind of runs with them a lot more. But really, the main exploration of season 2 is identity. First off, there's a ton of fucking body swapping in this. There's possession of Lopez, there's possession of these blank slates, there's Caboose being altered by Omega, and of course there's Doc. And I think Doc is the most important character to look at to see the role of identity in this season, because he's the very first person that we're introduced to. He's not associated with either team or even their fucking conflict at all.
I'm a pacifist.
He's literally a pacifist, but immediately upon entering Blood Gulch, he's stripped of his family name, given a new one, and used as a central pawn in everyone's fucking plans, and then just forgotten about. Then when everyone just drops him, the Blues' reckless plan, and I fucking mean reckless, they're literally just like, we're doing this now, you gotta get everything done now, I don't give a shit if you don't think you can, even to their own. So there's no fucking way they give a shit about Doc in this. They don't even think about him. There's not a single thought toward Doc after he's out of anyone's immediate vision. And so the Blues literally just cause his possession through their selfish recklessness. And this honestly pretty kind and caring guy is just then totally stripped of his identity. He already no longer has his name. But then he's possessed by this antithetical being who just turns him into an aggressive sadist who just wants to fuck everything up in the canyon.
I will rip out their guts and feast on their entrails!
To the point where, when he's discovered by Donut, he's literally just bickering with himself and crying out, "Help me, I'm scared of myself."
Hello? Who's there? Please
So, really, in the end, we see the Reds and Blues working together, but they really aren't working together to overcome a greater foe and save a comrade. They're all just so fucking self-centered that they can't even admit they hate seeing how Doc reminds them that there are consequences to their own selfish actions. And that's what meaning I managed to squeeze from Red vs. Blue Season 2. This is going to be a series, so next one's going to be Season 3. I don't know if it's going to be next week, in 2 weeks, or after another project, but that will be coming out eventually. Anyways, these are always a little too long for my fucking taste, so until next time, as always, have a fantastic week. Love ya. Bye. Watch me move. Yeah,